What is up, guys? Ben Allen back again, and today we're going to be talking about what it's like driving a Stryker in the United States Army, right? And pretty much a Stryker is just a vehicle that multiple soldiers use of different MOS, right? Whether it's the infantry, the scouts, right? But yeah, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright guys, so like I said, we're going to be talking about what it's like to be driving a Stryker, right? And today I have my brother on, Joseph Alvarado. You guys may have seen him from the 19 Delta video, right? And he's going to be talking about what it's like being a driver for a Stryker vehicle in the United States Army, right? He's a 19 Delta, like I said, and that's his specific role right now. He is a driver in Vilseck, Germany, right? And stay tuned because we're going to be dropping a what's it like in Vilseck, Germany video, right? Like what's it like to be stationed there, how's the base, how's the barracks, what's there to do outside, things like that. But stay tuned for that. And how you guys can stay tuned is by subscribing to this channel right now and turning on that bell notification, and you'll be immediately updated whenever we drop a new video, things like that, guys. And also take this time right now to comment down below what you're most excited for, whether you're going to be a scout, infantryman, things like that for basic training or OSIT, and also what other type of vehicle would y'all like to drive in the military, and also what other vehicle you would like to drive in the military, whether it's, you know, a Stryker, a Bradley, a Humvee, or a tank, right? But let us know. We really want to hear from you guys. And so jumping straight into it, Joseph, how is it driving a Stryker, right? Like, what was your first impression, like, being told, like, hey, you're going to be a driver? Like, the first moment you ever got into a Stryker, what were your thoughts?
Honestly, overwhelmed. I was tripping balls. I was honestly pretty scared because those things are pretty intimidating for the terrain that we're at. And there's just so much that you can do for a Stryker, and you have to learn for it. And I was just, whoa, like, all right, fine, let's do it.
Okay, and you said terrain, right? So what's like the typical terrain that you specifically like drive on over there in Germany?
So if we're not in the field, it's obviously paved roads, but when we're in the field for like our big training event that we just got back from, which is Hohenfels, it's like mountainous terrain, and it's raining all the time, and it's super slick with mud and like little frost and stuff like that. Honestly, probably like one of the worst like things to go through for a Stryker, because you get stuck, you get flats, you get broken axles. Like literally all those things I've said happened in Hohenfels.
And that's you guys that have to fix those specific problems, right? Like those 10 level tasks, like tires, things like that. That's something you guys fix, right? So
for that, the rule of thumb that we're told at our units is that you have 5 minutes to diagnose the situation, to see like, oh, okay, like, is it something I can handle? Is it something I can do? Like, do I need help doing this? Do I need the disc mounts to help me get this jack up or whatever? And when you figure out what it was or what it is, you have 10 minutes or 15 minutes to, if you're able to do it, you got 15 to 10 minutes to get that shit up. Like, and you gotta get moving. And if not, then you gotta call it and say, hey, you gotta bring this up to the hires and like tell them that my shit's dead. I need to
like call in the wrecker and they take it out of there.
Yeah, or you gotta call in your other Stryker and you gotta set up a recovery
operation.
Yeah, operation, and those are pretty cool.
And recovery ops suck dick, guys. I'm telling you. Or recovery ops suck, guys. Like, it's just not a good time. Like, it takes like a long time, because that one vehicle that's supposed to recover you isn't gonna just drop what they're doing to go pick you up. They're gonna finish whatever they're doing. You're gonna be there for hours on it. I'm telling you this because it's happened, right?
Yeah.
With Brad's anyway, for me, because I was with scouts that use Bradleys. But guys, it takes a while. Right? And so Joseph, if you could like give any advice for somebody who's about to drive a Stryker, right? Whether they're at OSIT learning the system, or they get to their first duty station, they get told, hey, you're going to be driving a Stryker. Like, what's something they should know about that Stryker? Like, what's the one takeaway you learned immediately? Like, okay, this is what's going to make it easier for me. This is what I got to get familiar with. Like, things like that. Like, what's something you wish you would have known about the Stryker before you even like set hands on it?
Man, there's just so fucking much, so much tech in there. I guess, I know it sounds stupid, but like getting used to the parking brake, cause it's operated like all through fucking pressure and shit. That shit is pretty key. And if you don't know how to fucking use it, you'll fuck somebody up, to be honest. Cause I have people run over nods and shit like that. and it's scary, and you can get into some serious trouble if that parking brake's not in or anything like that. And also lights, like literally, like how your car is with your lights and stuff like that, is literally like that's what you gotta know, and like that's what you may not think so, but trust me, you need to know where those buttons are, like on a flip of a switch, like literally, because there's this thing called a 10 count, and like literally they call on the net 10 seconds all the way to a 0, and everyone has to turn off their strikers at the same time, and you gotta know where that shit is, because if you're not, that's your truck, you gotta know what is what, and literally the basics is probably like the big thing that you gotta learn.
So pretty much familiarization with like the panels and everything.
Yes.
And guys, I would also say like any vehicle I've ever worked with, right? I've worked with Humvees, tanks, Bradleys, things like that, right? Because I've been a medic for multiple different MOSs, right? And each of those MOSs have different vehicles that they use. And one of the things that I've always learned, and even being a medic, we had 113s. And one of the biggest things that I've learned is study the TM, right, which is the technical manual.
Yes.
It's boring as shit. It's you're never gonna do it as a private. Like I promise you, like unless you're fucking told to, or you'll just pretend to look through it. Like nobody does it. Nobody ever looks at the TM. But once you start getting up there, you have to know that equipment because a sergeant major or a first sergeant can be walking through and spot checking. If you don't know your shit, it's gonna be a bad day, right? So I highly recommend the TM because once I actually stopped, not just reading the TM and actually put some time into it and just looking through it, it wasn't as daunting as I thought it was, and you learn a significant amount of how to troubleshoot different issues, right? TM is pretty much just a book, a binder with just papers just on that vehicle. It's just the manual for that specific vehicle, and it'll come in handy. It sucks, but it'll come in. It definitely helps, right? Especially with all the equipment that goes along with that vehicle, because you're gonna have BII layouts, which is pretty much the equipment that goes with that vehicle, and you have to know where it is and what BII is allotted to that vehicle. You know what I mean? So that's what I would tell y'all to do. Study the TM. But yeah. So, what's the craziest experience you've ever had with a Stryker, like in the military so far?
All right, so like how he said, how they just threw me on to being a driver. When I first learned how to like drive and stuff, it was literally on my way to home, fellas. So, like literally, I had driver's training at home, fellas, like on my way over there. So it was nerve-wracking, and we were driving. Probably the craziest thing was I PMCS my truck and all that. I'll probably talk about that later. I don't know how his questions are lined up, but so everything was good. Everything was fine. My truck was good, ready to roll out and everything. And my TC, he told me to take this left, and I told him, hey, my steering wheel feels kind of loose. And he's like, oh, like, what do you mean? Like, you can play with it a little bit? I was like, yeah. Like, all right. And like, the only reason why it's not coming off is because I'm putting it down, putting pressure on it. I was like, all right, we'll just take this left, and then we'll try to fix it. As soon as I took that left, man, he's like, all right, left. All right, straighten out. I was like, I can't. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I can't straighten out. He's like, my steering wheel's off, Sergeant. And I was like, what the fuck? So I jumped this fucking rail, going to oncoming traffic, almost going into a ditch. But obviously, in cases like that, don't fucking panic. Know your shit and stay calm. Ease into the brake. Don't fucking brake check your whole goddamn dismount and shit. But he came out. He's like, what the fuck you mean your steering wheel's off? And like our platoon sergeant, what happened? My sergeant fucking lifts up the steering wheel. I was like, what the fuck? But that was only like 2 Hohenfels. On my way, like in Hohenfels, there's a shit ton of stories, man. But that stuff's crazy. But I guess like one that I could talk about is I had to do recovery, and even if the vehicle's not dead, it's high paced because there's BMPs like 113s all over the place, like Op 4 is trying to kill us. Like, so you gotta hook up those straps and get the fuck out. So our one Stryker was literally halfway stuck in mud. He just sunk in. And if you don't know how tall a Stryker is, for halfway, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like, just look at the room you're in right now. I would say it's maybe that tall. Because I'm looking at my room. It's probably not this tall. It's like maybe like 7-8 feet tall, right? So imagine 8-foot person being stuck halfway in mud.
Yeah, and so we had to fucking strap him up, and one of the straps it was super tight. I mean, super tight, and also like already loose because I already did another recovery, and those straps are only good for from what is told, that is only good for 2 toes, which means 2 recovery drills. Once that's done, you have to replace them because it's a safety deadline at that
Never
point.
happens.
And sure enough, one of them started ripping, started tearing. Had to get that vehicle out of there, and then sure enough, it was the 1.5, and then the LT's like, fuck it, gun it, and he just fucking jumps it, fucking hits this fucking ditch, and that's where that fucking axle just fucking fucked up, and that was my fucking truck.
Don't listen to your LTs.
No. Don't. All right.
But yeah, okay. So there's some stories that my brother's had with the Stryker, right? So also, like you said, PMCSing, right? That definitely plays a big role, right? And pretty much PMCSing just means like going over your vehicle, following the TM, going through, checking all the systems, turning it on, all that type of stuff, guys. It's very, very important. If not, it can definitely prevent some, future incidents, right? Because you got to be able to locate those deficiencies.
Actually, and with that, look, I know right now I'm just PFC, but look, I don't care what that rank is. If you are signed for a truck, like you specifically, I'm signed for my truck, all the BII, all that stuff, and if I get rushed to doing PMCS for a field or anything like that, and if I don't feel comfortable with that truck, I will straight up tell them, hey, look, this is my truck, and I'm gonna do this PMCS. I don't care if it's a specialist. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna get my shit done, because if that shit is faulty, and if you don't write that down, it's gonna come on you. And until you get a fucking paper that's signed by whoever's telling you to get it done, to not do it, then don't do it. Other than that, you finish your PMCS and you just worry about your truck and everyone that's in there, because you're reliable for everyone's safety in there. You can be a stickler about it. I don't care, but me personally, I don't want, I love my crew, I love everyone in there, so I gotta look out for them, so I do my PMCS to a T. I promise that.
Dude, don't let anybody else borrow your equipment. We need a sledgehammer, can we borrow it from that truck. Dude, don't let anybody take anything from your truck unless they give you a 2062, which is a hand receipt, and just making sure that, they're signed for whatever it is you're going to lend them. Because like my brother said, he's signed for his equipment, that entire vehicle. If something goes missing from that, they're going to either do a flipple or they're going to do a statement of charges, and that's going to come out of his paycheck, since he's the one signed for it. Same thing happened to me in Korea with the 113. We weren't even signed for the 113 or the equipment in there, and the equipment went missing. And they were like, oh, well, we're just going to charge, Dark Alvarado. I'm like, nah, playa, fucking, I never signed for that. So that's on y'all. But, yeah, so just make sure, if you're signed for it, you take care of that shit. Don't let anybody touch it, all right? And so just last couple questions right here. So it's it's 2 in 1. So what are some of the best perks about being a Stryker driver, and what are some of the biggest setbacks about being a Stryker driver?
All right, so the way that I view it, if you don't have a training event or anything like that during the motor pool, you're not going to be doing shit. You're just going to be helping keep your truck tidy. But if you do a good job, you don't have to worry about that, so you got a little easier. But if you're in the field, man, that's when you're going to be booking it. That's when you're going to be on your shit. You're going to be checking everything and this and that. The best thing that I can say about being a driver is when you're in the field and driving, as soon as you stop, you can sleep. That's your main priority. And the TC will tell you. And if they tell you not to sleep, they're not doing the right job, because you got to make sure that driver is well rested and is ready to go, and ready to get that shit. If the TC says, hey, we got to roll, we got to get going, you flip that fucking engine on and you get going, because that's the main thing that drivers got to do. And I don't care who you are, all the higher ups would say, you got to go to sleep, and they told me that several times. But I guess one thing that you can take away is that for a Stryker, for a single person, and if you don't have a good crew, because the TC's not really
TC is worried about other stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna be his hands full. The gunner, he can help you, but he's gotta be scanning, and sometimes he's not gonna be there. So you gotta maintain that entire truck by yourself, and you have to be able to do it on the quicks, efficient, and make sure that it's ready to go. You can't just be like, no, I'll fill up the coolant later. Nah, man, you gotta be doing it. They tell us we gotta do a PMCS every morning before we roll out, or anything like that, because you gotta make sure that truck is good. And trust me, that stuff takes a toll, because there's so much information, so much things to check, and sometimes you're not gonna be able to check it all, to be honest. And sometimes it happens like that. But that's why you gotta get the main stuff out of the way, and all the little things, because if the heater don't work, fuck that. Fuck the heater. Sometimes you gotta fucking suck it up and just not have a heater and just get on to the fucking shit. But that's probably the fucking main thing, is all the shit that you gotta do, and the perk is to fucking sleep.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to boss your dismounts around.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're in the back, make them do shit. Make them clean the back, because you're not in the back.
That's
the dismounts are in the back, right? So you make them sure that it's tidy and everything, right? And if they say, oh, well, you know what, I'm just a dismount, I don't gotta help you out, then make it really uncomfortable for them. Like, our driver, fucking, like, if the dismount's treated him bad, bro, he'd brake check him, bro. He didn't care. He was just like, brake. He'd, like, turn off the heater, everything. He would make it real uncomfortable. So, dismounts, make sure you help your driver out.
I got my TCs, he's a sergeant. There's a couple things he always says, like, fuck the dismounts, it's my fucking truck, clean my shit. And Alvarado, make sure you fucking dismount, because you think I want you out there filling your fucking truck? No, man, I need you driving. So kick him out, fucking fill that shit. And he always said, if you're in a Stryker, don't freak. Remember these words. I swear you will make it through anything. Momentum, momentum, momentum. Don't stop in fucking mud. It'll save you.
Well, there you go, guys. So that's pretty much in a nutshell what it's like to drive a Stryker. And, you know, there's some stuff you can take away for other vehicles as well in this video, right? We really appreciate y'all tuning in. Be sure to comment down below what vehicle you look forward most to driving in the military, right? What your MOS is and where you're going to basic training. Also, feel free to hit us up on Instagram at Ben_Allen175 and at
Joseph_Al, that's ALVA.
There you go, guys. And again, like this video, subscribe right now, and turn on that bell notification. That way you guys can stay up to date with all of our future videos going over what's it like in Germany, 19 Delta, 11 Bravo, 11 Charlie, 68 Whiskey, comedic videos, guys, right? All of that, you'll be immediately updated if you turn on that bell notification. So feel free to do that, all right? Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.